sitting behind the wheel of my car. It's parked and I'm staring at the clock. I'm trying to answer a question that's been plaguing me for about an hour, and I'm watching the minutes tick, and it's around minute 4 that it finally hits me. And the answer is like one of those answers that sort of seems so obvious and also punches you in the face at the same time. It's sort of like the of course and the I can't believe it. An hour ago, I was standing on the 6th green at this little golf course I play at near my home with my friend Steve. Actually, he wasn't my friend yet. He had been transferred to the school where I teach, and in the fall we'd be teaching together, so I asked him to play golf on this July day to get to know each other. And Steve said yes, but he said, I haven't played golf in 6 years. And I thought, this is fantastic, because I love golf. I play golf, and I practice golf, and I take lessons all the time, and I am terrible at golf. I have chosen a game that I have absolutely no aptitude for whatsoever. I am always the worst golfer on every course that I stand on, unless in these rare instances I find someone who really sucks. And if you haven't played golf in 6 years, you really suck. So I am thrilled that I'm going to have an afternoon where I actually get to beat someone at golf for the first time in a long time. When we pull up to the golf course, I realize that all of these plans are going to go awry very quickly. First, it's 115 degrees on this day, which is not actually a temperature. It is an oven setting. It is like what we bake croissants at. It's so hot that there's no starter. There's no one in charge of the golf course. Everyone has left. It is just me and Steve at this golf course. And I meet Steve for the first time, and I realize I am in a lot of trouble because Steve is a mountain of a man. He is 6'5" tall. I find out that he was the starting tight end for the University of Connecticut Division I football team for 4 straight years. And he was in the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns training camp. He is one of these guys that can play every sport perfectly every time. 6 months later, I will introduce Steve to bocce ball, and in 2 minutes, he will be the best bocce ball player I have ever seen in my entire life. Even though he hasn't played golf in 6 years, it will not matter any way whatsoever. I'm also carrying my bags on this day, which is ridiculous. 20 years ago when I started playing, I put bags on my back, and over time, my friends have sort of migrated to a cart, and they roll it down the fairway. I can't do that, though, because if I move my bags from my back onto a cart, I have to acknowledge that I'm getting older. And I can't do that because I am afraid of death. So if I just keep everything the same, I assume I will never die. And so all of my ex-girlfriends are still my friends, and all of my childhood stuffed animals are still my stuffed animals, and this goddamn bag has to stay on my back so I will never die. And so I'm on the 6th hole here, and by some miracle, I'm only like 2 strokes behind Steve. I've lost about 19 pounds of water weight, and I've left my Gatorade in the car, so I am dying when we turn and we face this hill. It's the worst hill of all the hills on all the golf courses I've ever played. It is a mountain of a hill. It is a nightmare every time I have to climb it, and now I'm climbing this mountain of a hill in front of this mountain of a man who is like gracefully gliding up it when I watch him take this Gatorade from his bag and start drinking it. And I am so dry. Like, I am a desert. Like, I'm sandpaper. I am dying at this moment, and I'm watching him drink this Gatorade. And then he turns to me and he says, hey, I have an extra Gatorade. You want it? And I say, no. And it's crazy. Like, I should say yes. I don't understand why I say no. It's the dumbest thing, but I say no, and I die. And so we finish the last 3 holes, and Steve beats me, and he gets in his car, and he drives away, and I sit in my car in the air conditioning, and I wait. And I just ask myself, why did you say no to that Gatorade? It was the stupidest thing you could do. And for 4 minutes, I sit behind the wheel, and I watch the clock tick, and I ask myself, why did you say no? And then it hits me like a punch in the face. When I was a boy, I was food insecure for almost all of my childhood, which is to say, I was always a little hungry. And when you're a kid and you're hungry, the last thing you ever want anyone to know is that you're hungry. It is a shame that you live with every single day. And so when someone offers you food as a kid and you're hungry, you learn to say no, because if you say yes, you risk acknowledging your hunger. You risk giving away that secret that you're holding so close. You also know as a kid that you'll never be able to reciprocate. That when your friend says, "Here, I have an extra Snickers bar, do you want it?" You know that there will never be a time in your life when you have an extra anything to return to that person. And so as a kid, I learned to never tell anyone that I was hungry and to refuse the offer of food all the time. And climbing up this ridiculous hill, I came to understand that I was a 45-year-old man climbing a hill, but I was a 10-year-old boy too. As crazy as it sounds, I realized behind the wheel of my car that for my entire life, I had never once accepted the offer of food from another human being. And I think that there are these things in me that happen, these things that you take on, this baggage you take on when you're 5 or you're 10 or you're 23, these things that make you do things that make no sense in your life. And that sometimes you get lucky, really lucky. You choose to sit behind the wheel of your car for 4 minutes and ask yourself, why did I do that? And in these blessed and miraculous moments, you get an answer. And for the first time in a long time, you get to put that baggage down and move on as a slightly better person. Thank you.